I'm listening to the radio, so my mic comments will be limited. I'm actually listening to the real radio, not internet. Listening to coast to coast.
Street Fighter 6.
I will make sure that I am streaming before I get started here. Reason I have my radio out, I was testing my 4 tracks I've recorded. So far, level wise, let me turn it down for a second. So far, level wise, I've got everything right. I am using what you call AI compositions, meaning they're recorded by AI band. I want to tell you my opinion on this, and I sort of posted on Facebook a while ago. What I'm doing is I'm splitting all the tracks up. I'm going in there and redoing them, remixing them, adding human touch to them. But I'm going to tell you, even with human tweaking, they cannot compare to human touch. And I think the problem is, besides it not being alive, it's too polished. If you ever listen to songs, you want to know what makes them? Listen to Jimi Hendrix. It's kind of sloppy, but it's beautiful. It's sloppy but beautiful. Slash, he's got a real beautiful edge on him. Kurt Cobain was extra sloppy. It's the human touch that makes songs. But I'm adding as much human touch as I can because my only other alternative is making loops. And I like this a little better than loops, and I'm going to put it out soon. I'll start dropping it probably at the end of the year. I got to still take care of some things. I'll start dropping the tracks. I may not even do it as an album. I might do, well, I guess I will because I've got a handful of songs written. And I'm going through there, making some rhythms for them and going through the lyrics and singing them out, deciding whether I like that or not or whether I don't like that. And I'm going through and I'm actually giving human touch to this thing. But, like I said, even with, like, say, in these suites, they got things like 70s plugins and 90s plugins and 80s plugins. I've been mainly using the 70s because it gives the grungy environment, like the grunge. But even with that, you still, because it's too polished. I mean, that's what I was noticing when I was listening through, and I was listening to its generated guitar. Even though I pinned it to different channels, and it does sound pretty good, but it's too good. You know what I'm saying? It's too perfect. That's the problem with AI. It's too precise. Where like you say, a rock and roll song, you need some twists and turns. You need some like well, let me do something. Uh, Something that we know, Jimi Hendrix or something, like the Star Spangled Banner. And he used the feedback. That's the one thing that AI can't copy is the human soul. But now, for me being a cheap songwriter that don't have a lot of money in a band, and it's perfect, and it is what it is. But you need the human touch. I was listening. I shouldn't have really babbled about that long because I was actually listening to what they was talking about. I was actually listening to what they was talking about. I shouldn't have babbled that long. But anyways, they're talking about scams and stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna get this thing started. I'm gonna get back to the radio and limited commentary tonight. But now that's perfect for somebody who ain't got a band. I mean, you're taking it next level. Like say you're somebody and you don't have a lot to you. I'm gonna keep trying to learn how to play my guitar though, because I think if you added a human touch with it, maybe just use say this stuff for drums or percussion or some of this other stuff, and you just wanted that extra effects, It'd be perfect, but you need some human touch. I've been getting it out. I've been trying to strum with it. I'm still failing. For some reason or other, I can't concentrate. Like I say, if I'm trying to sing, but now if I was just adding it to my noise to my already recorded compilation, probably perfect. I'd say this technology at a hand's length, the AI technology can be good or bad. At an arm's length. And it'd be perfect. And if you was a budgeted person, you could go in there and give your production a much cleaner and clear sound that you would have to pay for big studios. But now you want some human touch to it, because I'm going to tell you, even with what I've done, but I'm very low budget and I can't play my instruments. I can program drum beats, that's about it. Which is how I started in '88, by the way. Uh, '89, I started programming the drum beats, '88, '89. I got my a keyboard in a Christmas of '88, so it would probably been the last week of '88. Actually, though, I remember, I take that back, because my mama got it out early out of a layaway, and she went ahead and let me have it a few days before Christmas. So in '88, I got my first keyboard. I started programming those drum beats in '88, '89, '90, even '90. I was doing drum beats, and then I got obsessed with singing. Thanks to Axl Rose seeing that live at the Ritz that night in November of '89. And I decided, whoa, I want to be a stage performer. Now, I didn't get to be the stage performer. That's what I wanted to be. Uh, Thanks to the Ritz, that's what got me into the songwriting. And then later on, I started karaoke. And I started singing up my own stuff, writing my own things down. '93, '94. And then 2004 and 5, and late December 2004, 2005, and a little bit through 2006, I recorded my first album. It was a long, tedious process because I'd take 2 or 3 months, save up for a song, get the demo, add my vocal, and do it. I was all that process, and it took me a long, long time to record that thing. So I don't really have the money to pay people to do my music. But real music is better than AI because I'm telling you, it's Tupac. When I was listening to it through the CD player, that's my problem with it. You need those quirks. You need those musical quirks for your song to be 100% great. It needs that stuff. It needs that mess up. Vocals are going to be completely real. Uh, with the exception of what I'm doing this time. In the past, I would kind of affect all my vocals. What I'm doing is I'm recording and I'm mixing it down with just a little bit of reverb on the machine. And then I'm keeping that main vocal, but then I'm going and copying that vocal. And like if I'm wanting an effect to it, I'm adding the effects to that. With the exception of one song, I think I added the full '70s plug-in on the whole entire thing. Then I added some robotic stuff to the other track and turned that down just a bit, just to give it because you got several different auto things on that. You got a robot, a classic, a duet. I use the duet a lot too on the last 4 songs. But now I'm keeping my main vocal open. So some of it you'll be hearing how I am, and the rest of it's going to be. See, in the past, it's because I've been just learning. I mean, I've been learning music, learning how to produce anyway, producing. People don't like songwriting, that's fine. Lyricist, I'm basically a lyricist. But when I go singing it and songwriting it and recording it, I become more than a lyricist, you know. And for since 2012 and 13, I've been building beats. But now I'm taking it to the next level. I'm playing AI compositions. I'm doing just like a band would do when they're playing their music. They're hearing it, and then they're deciding, well, I like that. Well, I don't like that. I don't like that. I won't take that. I'm doing the same thing with the AI, but I'm not playing it, but I'm listening. I think, like I generated something when I first got that. I didn't like it at the time, but the other night I was listening to it, And I thought, yeah, that one's perfect for this particular lyric I got. I got it out and sung it with it. Sure enough, it fit with the lyrics. So that's what I'm doing with this. I'm generating these rhythms and I'm putting them up. I mean, I'm holding on to them and checking them off. If I like them, I'm going back and later and listening to them. And I'm going to completely split them up and do other things with them too. So it's going to be a interesting process. It is interesting, and I just probably didn't hear what happened to the rest of that story there, unfortunately. And I don't have coast to coast AM Ether, so I can't go back and listen to it later. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited about this though, because one, I'm learning from stems too. I'm getting to actually break them up. I mean, I could have did this with my first songs if I knew about this. Like say when I remastered that CD a few weeks back, I already had this at my disposal. I just didn't know it was there. That remix, but I ain't gonna redo it. I'm just going to say it was good. Forget it. I probably shouldn't. Indeed, I was listening to one of those old tracks I made. I think I messed that thing up. I think I messed that thing up. Thank God they're already out there on the box set as the originals. Because I messed it up. I didn't think it sounded too good in the radio. I burned them off with the tracks the other night just to hear what they sounded like. Most of them I was happy with, but that old one, I think it was Lightning or whatever. The old I Am Lightning, which is I'm in the Blacks demo. That's what I made I'm in the Black off of. The 94 demo. I recorded the very night I saw that ghostly thing in my bedroom. I'm not in a basement. I'm in my room. In my garage where I wish I had a garage. I wouldn't be in a basement. I'd be in a garage if I had a garage. Because I love, you know that Weezer song? That's always one of my favorite songs. Choo, 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 choo. I got Ace Frehley. I got Kiss, or how it goes. That's one of my favorite songs. In my garage where I belong. No one hears me sing this song. You know the difference about today and back then? Today you can be in your garage and you can be streaming on Zoom. And people's hearing you in your garage. That's the kind of days we're living in today. Ain't that funny? Going back to then when he was singing about that, that kind of stuff didn't exist. Okay, I'm going to get started. I think somebody works overtime to block the signal of the channel that's coast to coast here. I really do. Because these other channels, they'll come in clear. And I just keep twisting this thing. I can't get it. I can't get it tuned in. I know Coast to Coast is one of those programs they don't want you listening to. Anything that adds creativity or original thought, they don't want you paying attention to. They want you paying attention to the brainwashed news. Of course, this ain't just beholden to now. This has always been this way. I mean, back like in the 90s when I listened to it. It's not a distant channel, y'all. It's a channel right here in town. Or used to be. It used to be in town. They always interfered with it. And you can get distant channels better than you can get this channel. It's even worse now that radios are cheaper. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get the channel right. I'll let you hear what I'm talking about. I listen to the music channel that's in the same. I think it gets up clearly. I must have went the other direction. This radio has no dial. It just. I think the music channel comes in clearly when I get to it. If I get to it, I don't even know which direction I'm going. I'm reaching over my computer. Where's that music channel? I think it comes in clearly. It seems like it's staticky too. Maybe it's my light. Yeah, it's staticky too. It must just be my light. My light must be up here. You know, lights do that with AM. Oh, it's the computer. That's what it is. I remember I heard Alex Jones explaining. I heard him explaining why a Tesla doesn't put AM radios. But now I was having problems with this at Coast to Coast channel, maybe it was my CD players and stuff, or my game players or something. Of course, I didn't have a game player till '99, late '99, going into 2000. Last few days of '99, when I bought my first Sony. Yeah, it's the, it's the, it's the computer. Okay, well, I'm gonna put this can up, and then I'm gonna go over here and get started.
Fighting ground. One-on-one. Ranger's touch. All right, I'm ready.
I don't remember if I fought with him yet. I'm gonna try.
Sure
thing. Let's dance.
Let us begin.
Okay.
Round one. Fight. Round 2. Fight.
Don't disappoint me.
Ryu wins. Ryu. All right, I'm ready.
All right, let's get it.
Let us begin.
Let me have some fun.
Round 1. Fight. Got you. Round 2. Fight. No. Ryu wins. Ryu. All right, I'm ready. Magno.
Watch Ino as I command the stage.
Let us begin.
Prepare.
Round 1. Fight. Got you. My turn. Got you.
Just an audition.
Round 2. Fight.
No!
wins.
Yeah, he's talking about scams, and they didn't want to involve with this scam that they're talking about on Coast to Coast. I want to comment about the FBI. They're doing their own scams, like setting up American citizens. That's the scams they're doing. I'm talking about something they're talking about on Coast to Coast right now. They're talking about they didn't want nothing to do with this particular scam he was investigating, or this lady was investigating. They are creating their own scams. The FBI is creating their own scams. That's why they want to silence independent thought. They don't want somebody saying that.
Place? Was it in Europe? Which some of the early evidence seems to suggest that. Was it in Indonesia where the victims were going and forking over the money? Was it in some third jurisdiction where, like offshore accounts, where maybe some of the money was transferred? Still questions that were difficult to untangle. You know, if it wasn't, in other words, these people were going of their own volition to Indonesia. Nobody was pointing a gun at them and forcing them to go. So what was the scam? And all of these questions ultimately got sorted out as the FBI initiated an investigation and started focusing on, you know, the white collar aspect of it, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and things like that. But in the early days, none of those questions were answered, and so it took a while for Nicole to be able to, you know, convince them and muster the evidence that would help them.
All right, I'm ready. Kimberly.
Make way for the Ninja Star!
Let us begin. Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight.
It's about a woman that was kind of people. She's called the Hollywood kind artist. Whatever they said she was, kind woman. Or... I turned on a little late, so I didn't know exactly what they were talking. Dang it, he beat me. Evil woman! I love that song. They're one of my favorite bands. Evil woman.
Round one. Fight. Hadouken! Oh yeah! No! This is my chance! Round two. Fight. Ryu wins.
And that time I beat her.
The tension.
I'm sorry, but I just don't have a favorable opinion about the FBI. I just don't. They've done so much wickedness since I've been born that I've heard about, since all the way back as a kid. I just don't have a good favorable. They can put all the fake television programs or all they want on them, but I don't have a favorable opinion of them.
All right, ready.
Another mission awaits.
And I think they got some of their little agents around here. As I kid you not, just as soon as I said that, some very loud engines rolled by the house.
No mercy for you.
Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight.
Right. Who's next?
Final round. Fight. No. Ryu wins.
Thank goodness I beat him. I beat her. She was giving me hell there for a second. But you know what? I guess in some ways they can't help it because they dealt with organized crime. I guess dealing with the organized criminals made them the biggest organized crime in America. That's their problem. They dealt with organized crime and they became what they fought, what they were up against. That's what it was. They become the biggest organized criminals that nobody can do anything to. Because they're the ones that would have to do it. That's why nobody can go after them, because they're the ones that would have to go after the organizer. And because there's nobody to go after them, the organized criminals flourish. They learn from the organized criminals. By going after them, they learn from them.
All right, I'm ready. All right, I'm ready.
Time for the doppelganger.
Let us begin. This will be a good fight. Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight. Ryu wins. All right, I'm ready. Honda. I'm ready for you. Let us begin. Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight. Ryu wins. Ryu. All right, I'm ready. I'll show you strong. Let us begin. Showtime! Round one. Fight! Got you! Round two. Fight!
She's called the kind queen of Hollywood, is what she's called. That's a book.
A double entendre there. Going to hear that part of the story from Scott Johnson here in a moment, and we'll open up the phone lines in a bit with your calls and questions and comments. We'll be right back with our final hour of Coast to Coast AM.
The kind queen of Hollywood.
All right, I'm ready. Think you could break my defense?
And I forgot to change his fighting style. I mean, level.
Let us begin. Hope you're ready. Round one. Fight! This fist is everything to me. Round two. Fight. Ryu wins.
Well, Johnson, I tell you, over the break, I was talking to our team here. We're all now wondering if we can find voice recordings online anywhere. I'd just love to hear the con queen of Hollywood in operation, the kinds of how smooth he was, this voice. But your friend, Nicole, this investigator who was on the case, began to suspect that maybe the con queen wasn't exactly a woman, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, in the course of her investigation, she stumbled onto phone numbers that were being used by the con queen to make phone calls. And through those phone numbers, ultimately found some people in the UK who had direct the person who blocked the phone numbers. And it's a kind of a complicated story, so I won't go into all of it for your listeners, but suffice it to say that the twists and turns, he ultimately found that there was a man in the UK who was had an online presence as an Instagram as a posted all kinds of restaurants, meals. He was a very flamboyant, strange personality, and he had some productive. So, and ultimately, again, through a sort of long, winding path, Nicole concluded that this man had some connection to the camp. She wasn't sure yet what it was. She mentioned that the impersonation, the voices belonged to a man would still domicile, but he concluded he was somehow involved in the scam. And that went on for some time, and then the revelation our way to determine that this man actually probably was responsible for at least some of the voices. And then from there, once we determined that maybe it was him, which was a huge 180 for her. I mean, for months and months, she'd been operating under the assumption that suddenly contemplate that year that upon Queen, as he comes to at the point, woman would actually be a man with a huge leap. But the more she investigated, the more that seemed to bear out. And then of course we had to figure out, well, okay, but what's the story? Where did he come? And that was a whole separate. It takes over her life. You know, I don't know if it takes over yours. I mean, you got hooked on it. I did, yeah. And, you know, I think for me, what really fascinated me was the idea that somebody would go to such length and involve himself in such a bizarre series of contortions for such little financial gain. And that really was the hook for me. I just found that totally fascinating that there was somebody who actually was less interested in the money and more interested in the psychological gamesmanship and sort of pleasure that could be had from putting people through these elaborate games. And I mean, that to me just seems so, so peculiar and so awful, and so. I wanted to understand what they said two. Well, you've listened to these tapes, as I mentioned. You've heard some recordings. Hearing them now, knowing what you know, are you thinking to yourself, gosh, I should have known. I should have known this was a man pretending to be a woman. Well, it's funny, with hindsight, of course, we think all kinds of things. And there are a few where I sort of wonder, well, yeah, that's a little suspicious, because that sounds like a guy. But it's very hard to listen to them or think about them with hindsight, because they were so colored knowledge that I know. I will say that there are some tapes recordings that I've heard where even now, with everything that I know, I listen to those sometimes. They are really skillfully done. Not all of them, but some of them. Well, so there's that. But again, going back to what I said earlier, even now, when I listen to the ones where it's clear that, okay, yeah, it sounds like a man, or, I can hear the male intonation or the male timbre of the voice. I can hear it, and it's pretty apparent. The persuasive element is still there. And that doesn't diminish with power and insight. It's really cool.
Right about Nicole getting these semi-threatening or overtly threatening phone calls from a man using a man's voice, and that leads her toward the ultimate solution of the case. But they take those stress pretty seriously.
It took them seriously enough at the time that she had to cut off snake action. Because it was, yeah, very unsettling. She had a family because these calls they started out innocently enough. You know, this guy was calling him people. He had nothing to do with it. He himself had been killed. And that he wanted to work with Nicole to stop this terrible impersonator from doing more damage. At one point, I remember
It's going to be.
he also told her, it's terrible what's happening. So
He broke my winning streak. I hate that guy right there.
All right, I'm ready. Sangya, behold this body of work.
I would.
Let us begin. Round one. Fight. The sweet spot.
All that, yeah.
Round two. Fight.
He presented himself as here. We thought it was pretty likely location. What we thought was the general neighborhood where he might be located. So, ahead of COVID, I went ahead and traveled east. And after a lot of waiting and seeking around and cruising, I eventually found it. And I confronted him. I confronted him in the street. That's the story that I tell in ebook. He embarked on this very strange, week-long with him about everything.
Let us begin.
With
Prepare yourself. Round one.
like what led him to return to the world, ultimately what led him to what undergirded the scam itself. Was the drive the voice.
I can become strong.
Yeah, and so it was
Round two.
my own curiosity. Everything. And so he has talent to use all those voices and
Jockey's other personas. So what you want to say about that, about how that evolved?
Yeah, I mean, well, what I will say is that he had a talent from a very young age. Not only did he have a talent, but he had a real love for it. And for acting, for the
Yeah, that's going to be it for me tonight. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching if you watch, and thanks to the people that will watch in the future. If you want to listen to that, you can find it on Coast to Coast AM.